Welcome to Dolce Valle Dairy. We are open since 3 years. The idea to have a cheese making operation in Trinidad was inspired by the presence of the water buffalo, Buffalo buffalis, the Asian buffalo, the same Asian buffalo that Marco Polo brought back to Naples, where we have the very well-known, famous in the world buffalo mozzarella. So because of the presence of the buffalo in the island, we decided with a friend of mine who belongs to a cheese-making generation, a cheese-making family for the last 3 generations, to start to make cheese here. The main idea was to make buffalo mozzarella. Unfortunately, we could not get enough milk to continue this production and really make it a viable business. So down the road, we decided to then turn to more common milk, like first cow and then goat. We purchased all this machinery in Italy. These are all professional machinery, specifically study and engineer for cheese making, processing. And I'm gonna now give you a little introduction of how the cheese is made and what is that we do here, okay? Why we make cheese, how cheese was discovered. You know, apparently, legends say that in antiquity, possibly in a Roman time, soldiers used to make bag to keep liquid made with the interior of animals, okay? In Italy, for example, there still is interior of animal to make the salami, to make any kind of deli sausages, all right? That's what they use. So they noticed that the milk was curdy, was getting hard, you know, in the morning. So from there they realized that particular molecule inside this part of the stomach of a cow was having this property, okay? So even after 4th century after, we still use the same system. We still use the rennet, that is an extract of one of the stomach of the cows that has forced them. Initially, we used to have animals in my land around us. We used to have cow and buffalo. I reached up to the point in which I had 10 cows and about 4 buffaloes. All right? The production of an animal in the Caribbean is not as much as in Europe because of the temperature, okay? Because the animal here sweats so much. The production of milk is basically half of what it would be produced in a cold climate, okay? So like very good wine that are better enjoy in European countries, also the milk has its problem in the Caribbean. So the production of milk was not as high as we expected. We learned by mistakes, or we learned by experience. So we relocate our cow in a different area where they have more pasture. And meanwhile, we are also linking with several dairy farmer, and we buy their milk. The milk, a container like this would be about 300 liters, all right? It is then pasteurized, okay? In Europe, many cheeses are made with unpasteurized milk. Our policy is to pasteurize all the milk. We don't want to run any risk because of the climate, to get into any possible very dangerous milk contamination. So all the milk is pasteurized, okay? The great gift of this machine is that it's able to pasteurize big amount of liquid in a very short time, okay? To give you an idea, 300 liters of milk, like it would be that big container, can be pasteurized at what we call slow temperature pasteurization, that is about 56 Celsius, in about 15 minutes. 15 minutes, yes. So the regular cheese making machine, it rely on big container surrounded by hot water, okay? The surface that interact with the milk, it is just the surface of the container. Here instead we have this double coil, okay? So the surface of the double coil that touch the milk is much higher, okay? And this is a device that keep agitating the milk. So this machine can bring 300 liters of milk to pasteurization level in about 15 minutes. Now, the beauty of this machine again is the fact that not only you can warm the milk or any liquid very quickly, but it can also chill it at the same time. You just invert the temperature of the water running into this double coil. So the milk, after it's pasteurized, is then brought to the temperature where it's ready to receive the culture. Okay? The culture is the software of the milk. The software, it teaches the molecule of the milk how to coagulate. So different cheese, different culture. After the culture has taken over, most of the culture that we use, they are put into the milk around 40-42 Celsius. It takes about half an hour to the culture to be spread through the whole liquid. At that point, the milk is ready to receive the rennet. The rennet is the coagulant agent, what make the molecule of the milk. Lira is an Italian, is a Roman guitar. You know, if you look at it, right? It's a guitar, right? Lira. But it also is the name of the Italian currency. Before the euro, our currency was called lira. Okay, so this instrument here allows you to cut the curd. Okay, you do it in cubes, and when you cut it, then the curd will separate from the whey. Right? The curd is what will become cheese, and the whey is what will become, in our case, ricotta. Okay, ricotta. Yes. We do cheese with different flavor. We do cheese with nutmeg, rosemary, pimento, basil, pepper. We did sorrel. We did dry fruit. You know, this is the new boundary of cheese making. You know, it's the old recipe mixed with new ingredients. So everybody do that now all over the world. There is cheese with Guinness, cheese with port wine, cheese with whiskey. In fact, we want to develop a cheese with rum. That's really what we are after. Okay. So these are just a few samples of the cheese that we make. This would be a Emmental. This is a Emmental. You can see the big holes. Okay, we didn't want to make an Emmental with too many holes because we put it with pepper. So we let it mature in a different way. But if you try it, the flavor is exactly like a Swiss Emmental. Instead is a caciotta from Tuscany with rosemary, as you can see, and this is another aged caciotta with pepper. Okay, this is about 6 months old, actually maybe even more than that. Okay, you reach a stage in which you either serve it in crumble or you dry or you grate it. Okay, this cheese is about 1 year old. This cheese here, this most likely is the oldest cheese that we have. I made this last year. Okay, good with peppercorn. Okay, also this one became very dry, but it's very good for using in pasta or sauces or omelette. This make great omelette. And these are two examples of cheese that we were trying the affinage with rum, and that's why you see this brown on top here. Okay, unfortunately, we started the affinage at the stage where it was already dry and it was not absorbing enough rum. Okay, but this is something definitely that we would like to pursue.